Hey Orion Starseeds, welcome to Starseed Energetics. My name is Bora and I will be reading your December energy. So have a really good time releasing all of the things that you want to release and recalibrating your life, because there's a huge collective energy going on. Obviously, even if you don't want to follow this calendrical dates or, you know, New Year's resolutions, still a really powerful momentum. So that's what I wanted to remind all of the Starseeds, because they like to be rebellious against society, right? Maybe it's a month for us to stop being rebellious and just creating like a center point. It's just, you know, thesis versus antithesis is always a polaric movement. So maybe we just set our own path. Nice. Yep, there we go. I love your energy this month. Like an instant message that I'm getting for you is to release this hurt, wounded aspect, wounded child, wounded ego aspect. So, you know, there's a really romanticizing that goes on in our old earth paradigm with people who have endured the whole life's miseries and have still survived through those hard times, and it's almost glamorized, you know, like even in like, what do you call it, like music culture, people are always rapping about, oh, I came from the ghetto, came from the gutter, I went through this, I went through that, I had abusive parents, I had like all these things happened in my life and I'm still here and I made it here. And even though I'm not trying to downplay the trauma, the collective trauma that went on with these really tumultuous timelines, it's time to stop kind of perceiving it in that way, as if we're glamorizing this, like withstanding a lot of trauma. And if you've gone through a lot of stuff in your life, I'm very sorry. You know, this entire collective went through a very traumatic timeline, but we need to get out of that. So the first thing you can do personally is to drop away your own perspectives on wanting to hold on to the past wounds in hopes of kind of carrying those around and having that as your backstory. How about we collectively agree, at least as starseeds, that the past doesn't even matter where we came from? There we go. There's a really, really, really culminative energy going on in your spread. And I know it's December and I know it's the end of that year, but it's not like that for a lot of the energies that I've been reading. It's yours specifically. there is an unfolding of a conclusion. There are things that are happening that are going to really catapult your ability to move on. And I think it has a lot to do with, you know, before I started flipping the cards, I told you, let's stop worrying about what happened in the past. Let's give it a rest. Let's forget what happened. Let's collectively not care about the war stories. Let's stop talking about trauma. And I think that's why, because I think, you know, when I'm bringing this up, this has been a conversation inside of yourself. That's why you're manifesting this, of an energy reader telling you that's what you're going to go through, because this was a subconscious and conscious conversation that you already had internally. So, you know, it's coming to that closure. There's that. There's judgment, death, there's closure, there's universe, there's the world. You know, it's the final kind of moving on. And then as an outcome, you have Chariot amongst 3 cards, which I'll talk about later. So it's this time that you're going to really decide, do I want a tumultuous ending, or do I want something smooth? Do I want something that doesn't go through these polaric swings? And, you know, especially if you're an Orion Starseed and you're watching this, right? You most likely played out a role in the hybridization program, like been abducted, probably, whether you remember it or not, and have had contributed to hybridization of Zeta. Could have been also reptilian and or insectoids, certain branches. And a lot of the times this is the background of this kind of trauma that occurs, right? So when you give a rest to your human narrative, you'll be able to deal with some of these suppressed memories that are at the root of your emotional disturbances. So even if you, oh my God, please, I have to talk to you about this. Let's just come to a conclusion, or let's come to a collective agreement, at least with these Orion Starseed groups, because a lot of people are not even mature enough to realize that we share genetics with more controversial star heritages like Orion. A lot of us get abducted. And me personally, I have one conscious or two, but one conscious full memory of being like boarded onto a spaceship. But there's been tons that I don't remember. And most likely you watching this is going to have a remembrance of one of those, or however it comes to you, it's going to come. And some of you will have recalling of participating in the human space programs, which, you know, a lot of you would have actually, that you don't remember. And there's things that happen that are always suppressing these emotions that you felt and the physical memory, and so you find yourself in viral loops of addictions or negative habits, self-sabotaging habits, or physical pain. If you find yourself getting surgical procedures or really physically painful situations, you're actually your body is trying to remember the suppressed memories that your subconscious mind is not letting go, because it's very traumatic to your conscious mind. But when you can release this kind of trauma, and when you can handle the human drama, then your subconscious mind will be like, okay, look at this person, like processing all these human trauma, releasing it. Then they can also process some of the deeper traumatic memories, like that of being beamed up to a spaceship and getting your specimens harvested, like your genetics harvested, or eggs or sperm or whatever it is, you know, whatever it is that you have to donate. There you go, another beaming of the spaceship. Another beaming. And you might be wondering, like, how it feels. Like if you're not consciously remembering how it feels to have interacted with another dimensional species, your entire sensory perception changes. So it's not like the memories that you'll recall is exactly like a human memory, if that makes sense. I felt like it was very relevant to bring up for some of you. And I know soon I will have to make this Starseed Awakening Parts 2 video, which is a sequel to my first one, that a lot of people are commenting on it and saying would love to hear more. And so the time is coming, but let me just wait for the right timing. First, let me get these monthly readings out. In the crowning position is strength. So you have the inner strength. You have the inner strength to go through these, process these trauma to the best of your abilities and witness them without being attached to them. So if you are really eager on making this remembrance happen and making this this interdimensional disclosure happen, the best thing you can do on a personal level is to, like I said, process and release all of your human stories, and then we can move on to the next ones, the other dimensional ones. Wow, you have the sun. You have the sun for your... I think that when you release all of these memories, all of these traumas, and even if it's only releasing your human traumas and you don't necessarily remember this timeline of the suppressed memories of other dimensional encounters, basically when you're processing your human traumas, you are allowing yourself to process all of the parallel dimensions of the emotional anchor, which will give you room for so much joy and happiness. Wow. So you're literally like making room for so much divine bliss when you release all of these past stories. And if you're wondering, you know, how you can make that happen and support that energetic movement to processing, honestly, salt baths, I know that this is so cliche, it helps so much on a physical level. You know, detoxing the things that you eat or the thoughts that you think. And the thoughts that you think, if you're having trouble segregating the different energetic frequencies of each thought and then transmuting each one of them, because we have like millions of thoughts a day, a good thing to do is to witness when you are blaming somebody for the way you are feeling, or what the things that you are thinking. Then it gives you an automatic reflection of where your frequency is at, because when you're at a high frequency, you will never blame an external circumstance for the way you're feeling, or if somebody triggers you, right, or an external situation triggers you, something that happened triggers you, some kind of timeline or situation is triggering you, and you're blaming it on the external circumstance, it's a clear indication that your frequency is at a low level. So what you can do is center yourself and then just point it out to yourself, like, oh, hey, I'm blaming something, and blaming is a low frequency. So instead of transmuting each thought, you can just transmute the entire act of blaming, which is a culmination of low frequency thoughts. Environment is the moon card. So emotions. I guess you're going to have a very conclusive month to your emotional body. So I guess after December, expect to have a completely recalibrated emotional body is what I would say. Like, you will not have the same emotional structures as you did at the beginning of the month, because you were doing so much inner work and recalibration. And then it comes as an offer in the physical reality. Of course, when you make room for all of this and your emotions are on point and your mental body is on point, like you're doing, inevitably physical gifts will stream into your life. This is the Ace of Pentacles. And then your final outcome is actually the Ace of Wands, Nine of Cups, and the Chariot. So you're honestly, I feel so light, like literally like a light body as I am saying this. This entire spread, you're moving on to bright days, and you're charging ahead, and you're leaving behind all of your old stories, all of your previous belief systems, and all it really takes is one single intention. Every time you notice a kind of energetic gunk that's occurring, just say to yourself, clear, cancel, delete. I release this story. Clear, cancel, delete. This whole energetic package, I release it, not I surrender it. That's all it takes. If you are intelligent enough to believe that's all it takes, because then if that's what you believe, then that's all it takes, then you're A-okay for this month, okay? I'm gonna just end off with a couple of oracle cards. Intention, see the intention, growth, wow. So you're making tremendous leaps of growth. Wow, intuition and courage. You're making so much growth this month. It's very evident that your soul is advancing and your physical reality is advancing. And just set an intention that it's going to be as graceful and painless and drama-free as possible, because a lot of the times, you know, when people say you're gonna make a tremendous leap and you're gonna have tremendous growth, then people expect this kind of growing pain, but that's also a belief system. So just intend that it's going to be effortless, graceful, and that it's just gonna be done like magic. Because when you're following your intuition on what to do and how to do it and how to kind of take the next step forward instead of planning it out with your rational mind, the growth can be so graceful and effortless and painless. Okay, so that's the end of your reading. I hope that it has been helpful. I hope you have an amazing holiday season, and I will see you soon with your New Year's reading. I'll have some kind of special spread for you and your new year. I love you guys. Bye.